You're probably staring at your computer screen, wondering what to do. Where do you even begin? You can look on YouTube, but there's so much information. You don't have time to sit and sift through the countless hours to find that one 5-minute video that actually answers your question. So what do you do? How do you start building a website for your business? Hey moms, welcome to another episode of the Life Unboxed blog show, where we talk about all things momtrepreneur, from raising your kids to running a business, and the most important, to keeping your sanity. I'm Jodie the mom from lifeunboxed.blog. If you're enjoying this content, I would love for you to subscribe or to like this video and even share it with somebody you think it could really help. If you're listening to the podcast, same thing. Give this a 5-star review, share it with your friends. I really appreciate your support. Building a business website is probably one of the most important things you can do for your business. Everyone searches online for everything now, and you want to be found as the answer to a potential client's question. And that can only happen if you have a website for your business. When I initially launched my website, so that would be for my virtual assistant business, jodierperry.com, I was always asked the question, who did your website? Many assumed that my husband did it for me because he is an IT guy, but I was able to proudly say that I did it. 6 years after building my first website from scratch, I've now pivoted my business to offering this service to small business owners. It is amazing how far you can come with a little perseverance. So even though this is a service that I offer, I want to tell you how to do it. I love open source knowledge, and so I want to give you the help to do it as well. Like Chef Gusteau says, anyone can cook. I'm here to tell you that anyone can build a website for their business. There are a few tools that you need for building a business website. The first one is patience. I'm sure we've all felt like this lady at some point or the other, or at some point in time. Although you can do it, and there are a lot of videos out there telling you how to do it, be sure to check out my channel, and I have some videos on there as well. You still need to be patient with yourself. There is a learning curve that you need to conquer when you're building a website for your business. If you find that you don't have the time, or this isn't where you want to invest your precious minutes, let me know. Check out my virtual assistant business, jodierperry.com, and I'm always happy to see how I can help make small businesses succeed. The next tool you need to consider is hosting. Your website needs a place to live. A few years ago, there was only a handful of companies that offered web hosting. Now it seems like everybody is doing it. So the best thing you can do is to read reviews, check out what hosting packages that are offered, and see what will fit in your budget. So there are 2 hosting sites that I do recommend. The first one is Bluehost. Now I recommend Bluehost because this is what I've been using for years now, and this is what all of my clients use as well. So you will have web gurus out there who will tell you like that it's not a great service because it's a cheap service, which is true. It is cheap. And sometimes when you're starting your own business, that's what you can afford. So it's okay if this is the hosting that you go with. The issue that they will always point out, and that I've seen myself, is the servers are slow, which is true. They are slow, but in all my time using them, it hasn't presented as a problem for me. And I've had to contact customer service to resolve some issues on the server side, and they have always done it quickly and efficiently. So despite all of the reservations that you may hear, I would highly recommend Bluehost as for your hosting service. The second one I would suggest is SiteGround. They are more expensive than Bluehost, uh, but from the reviews I read, I have not personally used them, but in doing my own research and reading reviews, they are a hosting service that I would recommend. And at some point, if I want to get faster servers, because there's so much traffic on my website, I would probably move them to this web service. So be sure to, check out what's offered, check out what can fit within your budget, and go from there. A couple of things I do recommend, regardless of who you choose, is go ahead and register your domain with the hosting. It just simplifies things for you. And second, make sure you add on their privacy protection package, whatever that looks, whatever they call it. Different places call it different things. That's going to basically shield your personal information from the rest of the world, because all websites have to be registered with a physical address and an actual person. So whichever company you decide to choose, they will use their information as part of in the Whois database instead of your information. Tool number 3 for your mom bag, and that is your WordPress as your content management system. So WordPress is a content managing tool for your website, and it is probably the easiest and most popular tool to use. So I have to say the interface is easy. There are free plugins that you can use to add to your website. And because it's so popular, there's tons of information out there on how to use it. So you can find YouTube videos, or if you have a Skillshare account, you can also check out the videos that they have on there to learn how to use WordPress. Keep in mind when using WordPress, it is an open source community. So therefore, there are numerous contributors from around the world, and not all plugins are created equally. So some plugins can be used to exploit your website. So you just want to be cautious with what you decide to choose. If you need help choosing your plugins, check out my post on the 5 must-have plugins that I use for every website. I also created a video on how to install WordPress and install plugins, so be sure to check that out as well. And I will leave all these links in the description below. And if you're listening to the podcast, I will leave them in the show notes. The next tool for your mom bag when it comes to building a business website is the theme. So WordPress is just the content management system that you choose. So unless you know how to code and use HTML and CSS, it's not going to look very good. Actually, it won't look good at all. So you want to put a theme on top of WordPress, and this will allow you to style your website how you would like and customize it. So my favorite theme that I use on all of my websites is the Divi theme. So Life Unboxed was built using the Divi theme. When I made my first website, I had to use CSS to customize it. At this point, I will make the claim that you can build a website without using CSS or HTML, because I've done it a few times now. Divi makes the same claim on their website. I've never learned CSS. Now, don't get me wrong, I have looked into CSS and I've taken classes and I understand how it works, but I've never built a website with it because ain't nobody got time for that. If you're not a web programmer, then this is a great theme to use. Now, don't get me wrong, it has its quirks, and there have been many times that I have been frustrated with this theme. However, you will find that with any theme that you decide to use. I've just found that this is the easiest one to customize, and their website is very thorough when it comes to documentation, forums, and contacting tech support. Another plus with using the Divi theme is they have so many modules that come in the theme, you don't need to add so many plugins to your website. So this helps to not bog down your website with extra plugins, And it also keeps your website more secure because you don't need to install plugins that you don't know where they're coming from. So keep that in mind as well when you're considering what theme to use. Number 5, and this might be the hardest part of the whole process, and that is content. You know what they say, content is king. So make sure you have really good content. So if you need help, like if you feel like your writing needs to improve, and if we're honest with ourselves, we probably all feel that way at some point, check out my other video or post or podcast on how to become a better writer. And I really break down the process of helping you to improve your writing. So be sure to check that out. So when I hear the question or the statement that content is king, make sure you have really good content, I almost want to pull my hair out because there's no substance to these statements. They don't answer the question, well, how do you define really good content? So I am going to give you my definitions for really good content. So keep these 3 things in mind. You want your content to be informative. State the problem and tell your reader how you are the solution to their problem. Most people who are doing a web search are doing so because they have a problem. So be sure that you clearly state the solution that you are providing for that particular problem. Second, be clear. Don't try to be cute and creative. Be clear about the services that you offer. Number 3, be engaging. Tell a story. Draw your reader into the website. People remember stories more than they will remember facts or statistics. So try to create a story around the services that you offer. But now for some more facts. You don't have to be long-winded to tell your story, but neither do you want your reader yawning at the first sentence. So it's not easy to maintain this balance, but practice does make progress. So start writing and then refine and then write some more and keep going. But if you really need to dive deeper into this side of marketing, I highly recommend Building Your Story Brand by Donald Miller. And it's this one right here. I have read so many marketing books, and this one was so hyped and everyone was raving about it, like this is the ultimate book, that I was totally skeptical. When the reviews are so raving, it makes me more skeptical than want to actually believe that they're true. So I did give this book a chance and I read through it, and I have to tell you that it satisfied the rave reviews. So out of all the marketing books that I have read, and I have read a lot of marketing books, I am going to make this bold statement. Don't waste your money. Just read his books, Building a Story Brand and Marketing Made Simple. Those 2 will give you all the tools you need for your marketing. Number 6, stock photos. This is part of good content. You need to have really good photos on your website. So you want your photos to draw the reader in or cause them to visualize themselves in the photo. So don't skimp on this part. But let me offer a word of caution. Just because a photo comes up in a search doesn't mean you can use it on your website. So I work with artists, and I know that the blood, sweat, and tears that they have invested into their artwork. So I just want to say, don't diminish their hard work by stealing something that you've found in a web search. So keep that in mind. Also, you don't want somebody like me coming after you because you're using our artist, someone's artwork without permission. So just keep those things in mind. And there are great free image sites that you can look into. So 2 of my favorite are Pixabay. They have great photos on here. They say they have 1.9 million. I've never actually counted, but I have been able to find numerous photos on this website. And you will see, let's click on one, their license. Now you can read it in more detail, but it says free for commercial use, no attribution required. So you are able to use this for commercial, non-commercial use, and you don't have to say where you got it from. But if you love an artist on here, you can always buy them a coffee and follow their artwork. And those who offer uh, their services for free always appreciate any support that you offer them. The next site that I like to use is Unsplash. So, and again, you'll see freely usable images. Let's click on that. So all photos can be downloaded and used for free, and you can use them for commercial and non-commercial purposes. No permission needed, though attribution is appreciated. So again, you can use these photos for commercial and non-commercial use without attribution. I've also used images from stock houses such as Shutterstock that I had to purchase. Now, they will have more restrictive licenses on their websites. So typically they'll have a standard use, an extended use, and editorial use. Those are kind of the three main ones, but every stock house is different. So again, this is another option for you to find really good images. Sometimes if you're looking for something that's very specific, you may have to go buy that image. But just something to keep in mind, you cannot use the images that you find on Shutterstock for a logo, and most stock imagery houses that you can purchase images from, you cannot use them in a logo. So keep that in mind and make sure you are very clear about the usage for those images, because they will, like I said, images that you purchase will have more restrictive usage associated with them. So keep that in mind. I'm not saying you can't use them. I'm just saying that you need to know how you're supposed to use them. And then my next favorite place is Canva. So Canva has tons of images in there, and you are free to use them for non-commercial or commercial use as well, with the caveat that any design you make with those images are designed in Canva. So you cannot download an image and then decide to manipulate it in Photoshop. You have to make your design with that image in Canva. So just keep that in mind, but you are free to use what they have in their collection for commercial and non-commercial use. In this visual culture, it is pretty much a requirement to have excellent photos. So don't skimp on this process. Take time to really find the photos that fit with your website and the services you're providing. The final thing you need to do is hit publish and watch your website go live. Congratulations, you've made it through all the steps. You can get started building your website for your business. Or if you need to start at the very, very beginning, be sure to watch my video or listen to the podcast or read the blog post on what to do before you start building a website to make it easier. And I promise if you follow those 7 steps, when you start to build your website, things will go much smoother. Now, you may have reached the end of this video and felt that I've oversimplified the process of building a website because the implementation can take a long time. I understand that, and I have been in your shoes, but I wanted to give you the tools that you needed to get started building your website for your business, and you can do it. I promise you can. But if you are still overwhelmed by the process, I am always happy to discuss how I can help take this burden off your shoulders. Again, I truly love seeing small businesses succeed. I've mentioned a few tools that have helped me to create my websites, but I always want to hear about others, so let me know the hosting you use, your favorite stock imagery website, or anything else that we as moms would find helpful in building our business website. I am so glad you joined me today. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And be sure to check out all of our Mom Boss merch in the Life Unboxed store. You can find the link in the description and show notes below or on the website as well. So, and we have tons of stuff in here. We have our awesome Mom Boss merch, but we also have one of my favorite t-shirts. I read books and I know things. That's what I do. As well as First Coffee, and then step 1, coffee, step 2, conquer the world. So be sure to check that out, and you can get the link in the show notes below. Also, for more great momtrepreneur content, check out lifeunboxed.blog. Download the podcast wherever you're listening to podcasts, and be sure to share the video, blog post, and podcast with your friends. I truly appreciate your support.